Good evening. I'm just getting my cards out. Hope that everybody is doing well. Hope everybody had a great day. Hey girl, how's it going? How are you doing, my dear? I'm getting all my cards out. I cannot believe that I have as much room as I have and I still require more. It's actually kind of funny. Whoops. So how was your day, Jalicia? Oops. Oh, has it been a day? Hopefully everything's okay. It's tough when Mondays don't go the way that you hope that they would go. It's tough to start a week off like that for sure. It's tough to start the day or the week off like that for sure. Okie dokie. Oh, it's a workout getting all these cards out, I tell you. Hi, Anna Banana. Oh, I'm sorry, Jalicia. That kind of bites for sure. Here's what happened to me last night. So, I did my this show, and then I ate, which is really bad. And then I fell asleep, and I woke up at like 3 o'clock, 2:30, something like that. And I was up till 9:30 this morning. And then I was afraid to go to sleep because I didn't think that I was going to wake up in time to do my show with Sonia. So then when my show with Sonia was finished, I jumped on with Jay for a little bit. And then my husband was coming home with some groceries, and I was sitting in the living room, and I literally fell asleep sitting like this on the chair. Anyways, I made him a lovely steak dinner because he got home and had to shovel and snow blow and all that great stuff. And so now I've eaten my dinner, so hopefully I'm gonna sleep well tonight. Anna Banana, absolutely not. Don't be silly. We got to share the love, my love. That is what we have to do. I appreciate the fact that you're here. Did you enjoy that today with Sonia? That was I thought it was great. A great chat. Want me to pull a card for you before you go? And I'm sorry, Jalicia, about your loud neighbors. You know, I had to do that whole, renting thing or whatever, like whatever terminology you want to put on it. And I swore I would never do it again. We lived in a building, and it was a brand spanking new building, like just built. It was like a sixplex or something. And the man that lived below us was supposedly a single person. And we were told by the owner of the building that sometimes his niece came to visit. Well, his niece, I don't think was his niece, but his niece was like a young mom. And I had come home one night after work, and the owner of the building was one of my customers at my workplace. And so like I knew him, but I didn't know him, if you know what I mean. And I heard smacking and screaming, and like somebody was being physically assaulted. And so I went to the person who was supposedly like the manager. And I said, like, you need to do something, because like something's happening downstairs. And I was like worried for, like, I didn't know who was smacking who, but someone was going to get hurt. Right. And, anyways, the police were called and all that jazz. And, I was labeled a complainer. And, about a week and a half later, I went to the bank and got a pre-approved mortgage. And I phoned the landlord and said I'm leaving, and don't even try to like stick me with a lease situation, because, you know, and he was happy to let me out of the lease because he labeled me a complainer. Like, sorry, I let you know that someone was being abused. What was I supposed to do? Sit there and listen to that? Neighbors can be very inconsiderate, but also so can landlords. My husband and I did not have great luck in certain buildings. Oh, Herc, sorry about that. I'm glad that you're okay, though. We appreciate you stopping in and saying hello to us, for sure. For sure, for sure. For sure, for sure. What'd you guys have for dinner tonight? Anything exciting? And who's wearing their PJs? And if you're wearing your PJs, what PJs are you wearing? I mean, I don't need the colors or anything, just like what kind of PJs. It sounded way too personal, sorry. Way too personal of a question. Honestly, I should have put my PJs on before I came on, because I ate way too much at dinner. You did lazy man dinner, laugh out loud, mac and cheese with nuggets, 15-minute dinner. Julicia says she hasn't had dinner yet. It's just after 6 here. Interesting. Listen, Anna Banana, there's absolutely nothing wrong with you know, as long as it's food and, you know, you got fed and it's in your tummy, that's the important bit, right? I have those moments too, where I'm just like, whatever. Hi, Suzanne. How you doing? 2-piece cotton short set PJs. Nice. I just ordered, I just got them the other day. I got a pair of like fleecy, kind of sort of like a tracksuity looking thing, but they're pajamas in that buffalo plaid, which matches my house coat. So lovely. Lovely, lovely, lovely. I'm doing well, thank you, Suzanne. I'm a little bit tuckered out today. It's been a large day, but I'm doing fine. Thank you so much for asking. And I'm glad to hear that you are doing great, my dear. That is good to hear. I was just asking everyone what they had for dinner and if they're wearing their PJs, and if they're wearing their PJs to tell me what kind of PJs they're wearing. Like what style. Delicia, do you normally eat like regular dinner time, or do you normally eat like later at night? My mother was always a later at night kind of person. Like she always ate, 7:30, 8 o'clock at night. That was always dinner time. And that just boiled over from when she was working, because she wouldn't get home till like 6:30 or 7 o'clock at night. So it just kind of stuck with her. Suzanne's not wearing any PJs yet. On break from cleaning downstairs. Wow. Look at you with the ambition. You had a microwavable meal. I've been after my husband for a couple days to bring up the Christmas decorations, and I was going to ask him tonight, and I was like, you know what? Don't bring them up because I don't have the energy to do it. I have a busy couple of days coming up, so. Oh, you don't usually make meals, Jaleesa? Just eat whenever you're hungry? There's nothing wrong with that. Excuse me. I've had like a tickle in my throat all day. Just driving me nuts. Silly dry heat that we have here. Not really getting things organized for treadmill. Nice. Good for you, Suzanne. You can work out and listen to the chat. I love it. I had a treadmill and I used to use it, many, many moons ago. I also had a rowing machine, and I was diligently using that. But we always lived in an apartment when I had those things, and I just didn't have the room required, right? I've never been a diet person, I have to say. Like, I don't have the... I've always said that I lack willpower for stuff of that nature, Like, I'm going to try to be more organized, or I'm going to try to be I'm just like, I fall off the wagon as fast as I got on it. So I bought, my husband actually picked it up for me, an older treadmill that someone had, I don't know, maybe like 3 or 4, maybe even 5 years ago, for like $50 on Facebook Marketplace. And, it was old, and it was big, and it was cumbersome, and it was heavy, but like it worked. It did what it was supposed to do. But I have to tell you, like, I wasn't inspired to get on a treadmill. I don't, like I said, I don't have the discipline or the willpower to do something like that. I'm that kind of a person. If I don't have any interest in it, then it's not going to work out for me. And like I said, I'm not just going to get on a treadmill to walk. Like, that doesn't do it for me. I'd rather go outside and walk. And I've done that a couple of times. Last winter, we have an outdoor skating rink very close by to my house. And a couple of times last year, I went. It's like a park, has a baseball diamond and the outdoor rink. And then there's like a playground for the kids. And there's a huge parking lot. And then there's like a track that goes around. And, so I'd put on my snow pants and my parka and drive myself over there. And I have I don't know how to explain this. This is going to sound a little weird, but as much as I enjoy going for walks, I don't like to walk on the street, right? Because, you go a little bit and then you're like, yeah, I feel like I could go a little bit further. And then you go a little bit and you're like, I feel like I could go a little bit further. And then I'm always concerned, like, what if I panic, right? How am I going to get back home? So what I prefer to do is to take myself somewhere where there's like a parking lot, or my car is there and I can see my car, so I can always get to my car. As long as I have like nature around me, like if I go to the park where the water is that I took the video of that didn't turn out, or if I go to this like outdoor rink, I can park my car. I can walk around that track like 80 times because I'm looking at glorious scenery, and that seems to sort of keep me motivated. I don't know. Suzanne says 2 months ago I was going to buy a treadmill, but I started getting sharp pains in my abdomen, very anxious, and back out. I guess I listened to my intuition today. Everything was fine. Well, I'm glad that today everything was fine, and I hope that those pains have gone away. That's unfortunate. Anna says I can't deal with extreme temperatures, so I avoid the outdoors unless I'm near the ocean. I hear you. Minus 27 yesterday, no walk. I walked today, it was minus 18. God love you. It's only -1 here, Suzanne, so. Julia says, I have a small gym room in my house that I never use. I want to get rid of the equipment and change the room into something else. Yeah, I did that. At one of my other houses, I did that. I had a treadmill and everything, and then I sort of changed it into, I don't know, sort of like a quiet space, I guess. I had the word dream and believe on the wall, and I painted it like a really neat shade of purple, and the other side of the room was like a bluey kind of color, and there's something about the way that the sun came in that room that I could just go in there and sit and read and chill out and be, and I love that. I love having the option of having that space, because I know a lot of people don't have that. Have you ever thought of getting an emotional support dog, one trained to get help if you go into a panic attack? I know I helped my sister. Interesting that you should ask that. So last year, for the very reason that I just mentioned about the walking, I decided to get a dog. And my husband was a little leery, but okay. So I went to the animal shelter and I got a dog. And I don't even like talking about it because it upsets me so much. He was such a good dog. Such a good dog. I mean, so sweet and so loving. But he wasn't well. And I knew he wasn't well. Like once I got him home. He is part of what they call the Northern Rescue Plan. And so here they will go into the rural parts of Algonquin Park and Manitoba, and bring dogs back that are basically, wild and left to die. And they will bring their moms back and have the litters, and they're fostered, and then they adopt them out, right? And so this dog was going to be like over 100 pounds. And I was in it to win it. I was sleeping on the floor next to the crate every night with him. And my husband had to go away for business, which doesn't happen very often, but just overnight. And I took the dog out for a walk. And when I was coming back from the walk, I had to go to the little girl's room, and he had to go potty, apparently. And I'm standing at the door and I'm holding his leash, and he is pulling with all of his might while I'm trying to get my keys in the door. And because it was winter and I had my gloves on, like it slipped and I didn't feel it. And he ran out in the middle of the road. And that scared the bejeepers out of me. Now, luckily he was okay, but he'd only been with us like 3 weeks. He didn't even know his name yet. So I'm yelling, and he didn't budge because he didn't recognize his name, really. Do you know what I mean? Plus he was only about, I don't know, like 4 months old at that point, 5 months old. So, and then I had taken him out in the backyard one day. And our backyard is pretty much a hill, right? And he ran up to the top of the hill, and again, wouldn't come back down when I called him. So I, in my house coat and my slippers, because it was like 7:30 in the morning, I walked out there and I went up the hill and I got him. And on the way coming back down the hill, he got all tangled. Like, he used to jump up and try to grab onto his leash. And I was following this training advice thing that said to keep his leash on him at all times. And anyways, he jumped up, he grabbed a hold of the leash, he yanked it down, and that pulled me down. And then my feet came out from under me, and I fell backwards and I smacked my head. And like literally, I thought I had a concussion. And that was when I realized that this, it wasn't the dog's fault and it wasn't our fault. It just was not going to work out. And I phoned the shelter and I took him back to the shelter, and I got to the shelter and I went in the room and I just lost my ever-loving mind. I was bawling my eyes out, and I started to drive home, and I turned around and I got myself lost. And then I had to call my husband, and I'm like, I don't know how to get home. I'm like so upset. And I said, I don't want to do this. I love that dog. And my husband called the shelter, and apparently they had already adopted him out. So, so that's my story about, but my intent was to get a dog because I thought that it would help me. It would give me, responsibility and being accountable and a routine, and help me to get out of the house. I sort of thought we could help each other, and it's still a little bitter that it didn't work out. And then we got the kitty cats. So, hello, Sharon Sipe. How are you doing? You think it was your guide sending you signs not to purchase that treadmill? You asked them for guidance. Good for you, Suzanne. And we have to listen to our intuition, for sure. We have to listen to our intuition, for sure. How about a card? Somebody want a card? Anybody want a card? I feel like I work at a carnival. Who wants a card? Get your card here. Ha ha ha. Who wants a card? It's absolutely like bone-chilling cold here. It's not minus 18. Sorry, Suzanne. I really shouldn't say that. It's only like -1. But my goodness, I feel like it's blowing right through me like the wind. I honestly think I'm just overtired. If you try it again, go for a little one. They're just as capable, but less difficult to handle. No, absolutely. I think that was part of the issue, was that the dog was just not really. I mean, the dog himself was so sweet and so wonderful, but and he was smart as a whip. We were doing really well with our training, by the time that he went back, but I think he was too big, right? Too much, too big, if that makes sense. Honestly, these cards. So this card here just came out. This is Shining Star. It is time for you to take front and center stage. Shining Star. It's a lovely image. Shining Star. I like that. I like that a lot. Do you guys have any pets? Cats, dogs, birds, fish? Other? Hi, Linda. How are you? My sister got what I call a purse puppy. The responsibility of having him helped her out a lot. Yeah. I hear you. Yeah, my sister has a dog, and I mean, she's like, I don't mean that she's the best dog owner, but she's definitely a great dog owner, right? He's been to obedience school, and he's been to, he goes to the groomers regularly, and she takes him to the dog park regularly, and she probably walks him like 8 times a day. And I don't mean like just out the front of the house. I mean like a walk, right? No matter the temperature. She is very doting on her puppy. It's chilly here, and is that Minnesota? Is MN Minnesota? Jalicia, you had a dog, a Cocker Spaniel. Oh, I'm sorry. Losing a pet is so painful. Oh, Anna Banana. I'm so sorry. Oh, that's so terrible. Sorry. I had a cat. Her name was Virginia, and she was 16 and a bit years old, and we had to put her down, and it was very difficult. Very difficult. You become so attached to them, do you not? I just pulled this card here. Tangerine. Be spontaneous and have fun is the message on that card. But you definitely have a lot of animals on a banana. 2 female cats, 2 male dogs. That's a good, healthy brood. Linda, you have a cat. She's your best friend. Yeah. Cats are, listen, it doesn't matter what kind of animal you have if you love it, right? Obviously they do something for you. But they are very significant in our lives. They definitely make a difference. I've said many times that I would be lost without Austin. He is my buddy. He is my absolute best friend. Wow, almost 20 years old? Good grief. That's amazing. Yeah, I'm sorry, Anna Banana. That's rough. Well, just before I pressed the live button, Quincy was all over the desk here, standing on the keyboard, turning everything sideways and rubbing up against the screen. And I don't know what the attraction is, but both him and Charlotte love to get on the desk and sit there and stare at me. I don't know what that's about. Like Austin would never do that. But those two, we say all the time they're not right, in a good way. All right, we have the Zodiac Moon, Sun and Aquarius, card number 11, Opportunity. And the message on the top of this is readiness for change. Readiness for change. Well, at nearly 20 years old, for a cat, she's allowed to get cranky every once in a while. I get cranky every once in a while. My cat, Virginia, that I was talking about, I don't know why. She was never, like, she wasn't my girl, right? She was definitely a daddy's girl. But she did this really cute thing that I never really recognized how endearing it was until she didn't do it anymore, right? And that was that she did this amazing thing where she would put us to bed. So my husband used to get up really, really early in the morning. Like, he'd have to start work at 5:30, so he'd be up at 4:30. And at a certain time of night, she would literally go to him and cry and go in between his legs and hop up and all this and like make a big fuss until he actually got up and went upstairs to bed. And she used to sit on top of the little portable TV while he slept. And then when it was time for me to go to bed, she would come down and she would jump on the stool in front of my chair in the living room where I normally would be found. And that was the only time that you could like pet her and give her any love. It's like, you could not pick her up, don't pet her. She wasn't into it. And that was about the only time that she wanted your attention or affection. But it was really cute. We used to say it was like she was putting us to bed, right? So she'd come down and she'd jump on the stool and she'd flop herself over and I'd pet her, and we'd go on for a few moments, and then she would take me, like literally walk upstairs with me, and she would get back up on the back of the television, and that's where she would stay for the rest of the night until my husband got up. And it's funny that you take that for granted, or you don't really realize the importance or the significance of what that does for you, right? It was lovely that she used to do that. Another cute thing that she used to do, which I never really fully understood, in terms of like why she did it, she loved to sit with us, but not near us, if that makes sense. So if we were in the living room, she wanted to sit on top of the television, right? As far away from us as possible, but still in the same room. She was a total cat, right? So she would sit on top of the TV stand. And so I would joke around and I'd say, like, do you have something that you want to tell us? Like, that's why you're sitting in the middle of the room, having everyone stare at you. You want the attention. The floor is yours. Go for it. We're here for you. And for whatever reason, I would like start talking to her and she would start to respond to me. And we sort of created this deal where I would say, like, I don't remember which way it went, but like one blink for yes and two blinks for no. And we'd have a total conversation for like 10-15 minutes like that, where she was like accurate with all of her blinks, which would floor me. One day I recorded it. Just because, like, I figured no one would believe me. I don't know. I think that cats are intuitive like that, though. I don't know why I feel that way, but I do. Anna Banana, are the other animals in the house feeling the loss? I know that when Virginia passed, she had taken to going under the bed, and Austin for like 2 weeks would just sit and cry. He'd go under the bed and then he'd just cry. Because he was looking for her, right? Trying to find her. I have to be honest, that was the most heartbreaking part of it, was watching him. It's like watching a little kid and you can't explain it to them, right? They just don't fully comprehend it. It was tough. My heart goes out to you. It's difficult. So very difficult. I just pulled a Soul's Journey card. Relationships. I'm attracted to those people who serve. I can't speak. Sorry. Who serve my higher good. I love that. I love that message. I love that message. I feel like I'm sitting in the dark. You guys can see me all right? I could turn my light up. It's almost too bright. I'd only been here 1 week. Whoever had her first didn't take care of her. She had eaten her. Oh my God. Oh, Anna Banana, that is absolutely awful. Oh. Hi, honey. You can see Quincy playing ball on the bottom of the screen over there. God, that's awful. I'm so very sorry. Hi, Miss Candy. How are you? You let us know when you're starting to feel human again. Ha ha ha. Jalicia, you're funny. See, now I don't drink coffee. I don't like coffee. I'm a tea girl. And like in the morning, I drink tea. I don't drink coffee. I think it smells like, well, I'm not going to say what I think it smells like, but I don't think it smells very good. And it's funny, my husband doesn't drink tea, and I don't drink coffee, but he makes great tea. I don't think I make a great coffee for him, though. Although I can't, I mean, it's really hard to mess it up because it's like a pod that goes in the machine, but it's the additives that he puts in that I don't get right. Yeah, it is definitely for sure sanity and potential survival. Yes, you do. Although you've reduced your coffee intake a lot, honey. For sure. You don't drink half as much as what you used to do. It's no different than my Pepsi is to me. Like, you know, you can do a lot of things to me, but don't touch my pop. Don't touch my pop. You guys funny like that with your food? You know, like if you go out or you're, you know, someone's over at your house, like if someone like say you had like a plate of French fries, for example. If someone just like reached over and took a fry without asking, what would you do? Like, would that upset you? If someone like took something off your plate? Or like, because some people don't care. My husband can tell you what I would do. I'll stab you. Don't touch my food. Oh, neat. I love mint chocolate. I didn't know. I meant like just like your cream and your sugar, but that's because you have enough cream and sugar in your coffee for like 8 people. So. Have you ever done that, Mark? Have you ever put like that kind of stuff in your coffee? I don't think you have. Mark loves hot chocolate. He's a hot chocolate fan. It's like his favorite thing to drink if he like what? I pulled a Moonology card, and I love the image on this card. Look at that. It looks like every Christmas card that you ever received. What do you need to release? Yeah, my husband and I we don't drink a lot of alcohol. So we're pretty much cheap dates is what I'm trying to say. We are definitely cheap dates. Andy's mint chocolate coffee. All right, don't come in here and hijack the chat, mister. We'll get one of those moderators to kick you out on your butt. So what about the food thing? Do you guys do that? Like, are you protective over your food? I get very upset. I don't like it. Don't touch my food. I think that's really rude. Don't be sorry. I'm only bugging you. Listen, I don't know how many other people's husbands will help them, make sure that the chat is okay and try to embrace what their wife is doing and join in and stuff. So don't ever apologize. I appreciate everything that you do. I appreciate you. Yeah, pets are totally different. Yeah, okay. You could be waiting a bit. So, Anna Banana, you had a gastric bypass. I don't really know anything about that kind of a surgery, but I imagine that must be like, I'm not sure if it would be a painful recovery or just a difficult recovery. At least I imagine it. I mean, it sounds like it would be. But it's not so bad to not eat much in a sitting. I mean, that's what they say to not do, right? To have more of a, smaller meals more times a day than bigger meals once or twice a day kind of idea. Oh, I love this card. So that's from the Sacred Forest Oracle. We have a bear and a fox and a bunny rabbit. Mystic Meadow Sanctuary. Love it. Love it. Oh, okay. Interesting. Interesting. It is all dependent on the person. When I had mine done, they gave me morphine. I proceeded to act. Wow. Look at you. I mean, that's inspiring. Holy moly. Yeah, like I said, I don't know much about it, but it's just, it's like in my head, it would make sense that it would be a difficult recovery, right? And for whatever reason that you got it, are you feeling better because, post surgery? I hope. Mark, in case you're wondering what's happening, there's another show on right now, and these guys are dodging back and forth, or most of them are anyway. So, in case you're thinking why aren't people answering me, is because they're dodging back and forth. Like they're listening to both of us is what they're doing, which is extremely kind and very much appreciated. I love this card. Kangaroo. Be a force for good. Kangaroo. Love that. Love that. All right, we're taking a drink break. I am absolutely freezing. Wow. You certainly seem like you've had a heck of a journey on a banana. I can't imagine. How are you doing with this on a banana? Mark, on a banana is the one that said to me, I had said that I was going to quit smoking, and she was the one that said to me that she was going to call me out. She'll be like my person. So I told my husband that on a banana had said that to me. So you know what? I told my sister, for me to tell my sister and for me to announce it on here, I'm gonna give it my best shot. I'm gonna give it my best shot. It's time. And I've never said any such thing before. So if I'm successful, if I'm not successful, I'm not going to beat myself up about it, but I'm going to give it a good shot. And the fact that I'm even saying that is, I'm going to celebrate that, because I've never said that before. I agree, Linda, with that. I definitely agree. I never been skinny. I've been skinny a couple of times in my life, but I'm not a skinny person. I've always been athletic. Well, I was. Not so much now. But I've never been obsessed about numbers, right? I sort of think that it's more important that, like, when you feel good, you feel good. And that's really, the most important thing to me personally. Good for you, Anna. I mean, it's not easy. They say it's as addicting as cocaine is, so it's not easy. Sorry, I got like 4 cards drop out there. Too many. So Suzanne says that it took her mom 13 tries and over 20 years before she quit. My dad quit cold turkey. Yeah, it's so. I mean, I think there's stuff going on behind the scenes as to why you might smoke, or what you. I don't know how to articulate this, but like how you associate. Like if you get up in the morning and you have like a coffee or a tea with a cigarette, or it's a break, or that's what you do after dinner or whatever. There's some kind of like association that happens in your mind, and you need to break those associations, right? My mother tried to quit smoking. This is way before she was diagnosed with lung cancer, but she used to have a sign that she had she had 2 of them, one on the fridge at home and one in her office at the workplace, and it said that the craving to have a cigarette will go away whether you have a cigarette or you don't. And there's something about that always stuck with me. And I thought, yeah, like I was impressed. My mother gave it a good college try. And she did quit one time she did quit for a while, but then she retired and she had nothing to do. So, she started smoking again. But just like you're saying, Linda, that my mother's husband could quit cold turkey, whereas my mother could not. So, just interesting how that works. Sorry, not Linda, Suzanne. Quitting smoking is hard. You quit smoking in mid-October. Congratulations. Good for you. I'm very proud of you. That's wonderful. Wow. Yeah, when I was diagnosed with the anxiety, I mean, Mark can tell you, I don't know, I lost like 40 pounds. But that's because I couldn't keep anything down. It's not, I wasn't like, I wasn't skinny like, ooh, look at me. I was like skinny sick, right? I was weak, so I didn't feel great. But yeah, I mean, I'll be honest, like everywhere I went, people were like, oh my God, you look so good, and whatever. And it does make you feel good. It does. But like we were saying before, I don't think that I was ever meant to be a skinny person. That's not really. I've never been, right. I've always been like kind of thicker, if that makes sense. Some is stress, some is habit, some is negative talk that requires easing and trying to choose the least harmful way of self-soothing. Yeah. I don't even know why I ever started smoking, to be honest. But now, especially because, like that association in my head. It's like, that's all I do. Do you know what I mean? So there's very few things that I do where a smoke isn't involved. And one of those things is crocheting. I crochet. So I have to be getting myself some wool and be making like a couple of hundred blankets. So keep my hands busy. I don't normally smoke when I crochet. And I don't know why. It's not like, I just don't. And there isn't many things like that. So, well, that card flipped right over. Oh, we got two cards actually. We got the Spirit of Fire. We pulled this the other day for someone. I think we might have pulled this for you on a banana. Or no. Maybe. I can't remember. And then we got Prayer Feather. I love the image on that. It's a beautiful card. I love that. I love that. I think my husband would be more successful at quitting smoking than I would be first time out. Wow, that's awesome, Linda. And thank you for sharing that. Because I'll be honest, I would have never thought to do that. I would never think to do that. That's a great suggestion and a great idea. I may have to employ that myself. I like that very much. Thank you for sharing that. You know, it seems silly for me to say that I'm new to spirituality, but I am. And as much as I understand and believe that, you know, like if I just start talking to my mom, I believe that she can hear me. I believe that she is with me. There are times when I have felt her. And then there's other times when she gives me signs. So I believe that's confirmation that she's with me. But I don't know that I ever understood or thought before that, you know, it's not just my mom or like my dad or whatever that would be around me, that there are other people that could be around me, that I could ask for that kind of help. You know what I mean? Or guidance. I don't know that I ever would have thought of that before. So I'm really grateful that you shared that. Thank you. Tis interesting to think about. It works sometimes. It takes a while before you get an answer or a sign. Yep. So we have from the language of flowers, we have wisteria, longevity. Plan for and take the dedicated path. Interesting card. Interesting card indeed. That intrigues me greatly. So here's a question for you guys, and I don't know that I've ever asked this before, or maybe I have. So does anybody here feel like they have any gifts, or know that they have any gifts? Or I don't want to use the word afraid, because that implies something, you know, very negative. Sorry, a reminder's going off on my computer. I apologize. Or like just like not knowing, or like, are you nervous about it? If you don't mind sharing. I've been told that I have gifts, but I don't know that I do. And I don't know to what degree that I could. I definitely know that sometimes I just know stuff. But I don't know, someone's going to have, my next door neighbor's going to end up, in a bad way or whatever. I don't know that kind of stuff. It's more like I don't know how to explain it, so I'm going to do my very best to try to articulate it. If I phone my sister or my husband comes home, and I just take one look at them and I know. I mean, I've even done it when I'm texting someone. I don't have to be, but it has to be someone that I know. I can tell just by the way that that they're texting that something's wrong. I don't know that that's a gift or that's not a gift, but I've always sort of had that. Sometimes it's heightened, sometimes it's not. Sometimes I just don't listen to it. And since my anxiety, I always felt like I had a pretty good gut instinct. And one of the things that I didn't attribute this to anyone or anything. I just thought that this was something that I did. I have the ability to meet someone and to get a vibe from them, good, bad, or otherwise. And, I will say, if Anna Banana and I were together out somewhere and we met someone, and I could say to her afterwards, you know what? Yeah, there's something, you know what I mean? I would never hold it against the person, but 9 times out of 10, I was right. It would, reveal itself that I was correct. And I just thought that was just something that I did. I didn't know that it was a gift or not, or I still don't know if it's a gift or it's not a gift. But I used to be able to read vibes off of people really, really well. And when I got diagnosed with anxiety, I don't really know how to say this, and I don't know if anyone can relate, but I started to not trust my gut most of the time because my gut was feeling nauseous all the time. So I never knew if it am I getting something because something's off, or am I getting something because I'm off? Do you know what I mean? So I started to not really trust my gut instinct. And that kind of threw me off a little bit or a lot, depending on the situation. So I don't know is my point. I've been told that I do, but I mean, I don't know. That's why I'm asking. Linda says that she's new at this spiritual awareness, so you're learning as you go. And how are you finding it, Linda? Do you find it fascinating? Do you find it kind of odd? Do you find it encouraging? What is your journey been like so far? If you don't mind me asking. I mean, of course you don't have to share, but Anna Banana says, I have gifts, I just can't control the connection. That's interesting. Is that because you don't because you don't know how to control the connection, or are you just learning how to control that connection? Or is that just something that you've never been able to do? You have prophetic dreams. Those are the only ones I can remember. I see, hear, and feel different spirits, but I can't do it at will. Usually happens when I'm emotional. That happens to all of us at one point or another when we are dealing with emotional and or mental issues. We doubt more than usual. Yeah, 100%. Interesting. I get it. Okay. I've heard a lot of readers say, since I've been part of the community, right? I've heard a lot of readers, they don't go on about it, but they mentioned it once or twice that, saying that they're a tarot reader was like almost like coming out and saying that they were, gay. Not being accepted by friends and family, people telling them that they're weird, or that it was somehow, that you don't believe in God, or whatever the case may be, right? That's interesting to me. And I've also heard other readers say that it can, like, I don't know that it breeds anxiety, but it can be very, like, it can, like, the connection itself can make you feel quite anxious. Like, the idea of that does not sit well with me. It would be very difficult for me, personally speaking, to do anything that would increase that nervous feeling. If it's the same kind of okay, love. If it's this, how do I say this? If it's the same kind of way that my actual anxiety makes me feel, I don't know that I could ever put myself in a position that I would, like, feel that, like, intentionally, if that makes sense. That would be most difficult. Suzanne, knowing is a gift. Yeah. I mean, I believe that it is to a degree, but I don't know that my knowing is, if that makes sense. I don't know. Linda says it's been a roller coaster ride, learning all the aspects by watching the readers. Yeah. I was saying today, when I was talking with Sonia, that, how do I say this? So you make the decision that you need to do something different for whatever reason. You need to do something different. You stumble upon it. It intrigues you, fascinates you, whatever the case may be. For me specifically, it's like I'm getting tips and hints and help, and there's another option. Finally, I have another option, another way that I could fix myself, improve myself, help myself. That's what intrigued me, first of all. It's a lot of work. And if you're not in a position to if you're not in a position, or if you're not well enough, and that's what I mean by not in a position, to actually dive in and do the work, it can not only be intimidating by the amount of work, because, I mean, you got to stay on this. It's like, like if you were a jogger, like, once you start, you can't really stop, kind of idea. Do you know what I mean? It's a little bit intimidating, but it also requires you to face a lot of fears, in my particular case, right? And it's hard. It's hard. Look up the 7 clairs, knowing is claircognizance. Yeah. I used to work with a girl who, it's hard to explain. So she was a full-time employee, and her sister was a part-time employee, and we all worked together. I was a full-time employee, and they both had something, right? It seemed to be more when they were together than it was when they weren't. But she, the girl that I worked with, she was like things would just happen and she couldn't really explain them, if that makes any sense at all, right? Like she would have a dream and she would wake up, or lights would turn on and off in our house, or she got in the car one night and the light wouldn't work, and so she didn't use the car, and that night there was like a big car pile up at the end of the highway or something, like those kind of things were happening to her. So I feel like she was connected, if that makes sense. Her sister, on the other hand, had like dreams and feelings, like she would literally feel something. And the two of them used to just freak me right out. This is when I worked in the group home for developmentally challenged adults. It was a high medical needs house. And I remember specifically with these two people that I'm talking about, I came in on shift at like 3, I think. And so we're getting, everybody ready for dinner. And it was like a fight over who was going to feed one particular person in the house who required, a lot of assistance. And I was like, what is the problem exactly? Like, what's I don't understand. Why are we fighting about this? Right. I mean, we weren't fighting, but you know what I mean? And, finally one of the sisters said, because I had a dream and it's not going to go well. So I want to feed her. And I'm like, you can't feed her because you're a part-time person. And then, like, now that you've told me that, I can't let you do that. Right. So sometimes it used to freak me out. Right. So then I'm sitting there with one eye open the whole time going like, I don't know if I want to look. Right. I would have rather not known that, to be honest. Like, keep your feelings to yourself is kind of how I felt in that particular setting. It wasn't necessarily a good thing. You've experienced 4 of the clairs? Wow. Interesting. Yeah. I'm learning to retrust my intuition and my gut, Suzanne. I really am. I mean, I've always known that it was there, but I sort of decided not to trust it, if that makes sense. Yesterday I was told to pay attention to my surroundings during meditation. An arrow light flashed on and off at the intersection, and I did not jump on the light change. It is supposed to be my turn at the light. Interesting. I have trouble with meditation. Yeah, no, I got you. In other words, it went red. That is kind of odd. 100%. That was like, see, when you say that, I think that was some sort of a warning, right? I don't mean a warning, but like like someone slipped you a note and let you know, what the questions were going to be on the test. Like you got a tip, sort of thing. That is interesting. I mean, interesting that happened, but also, also just makes your heart smile and fills you with joy and gratitude, obviously. That's very possible. 100%. I had a reader tell me that I wasn't paying attention to the signs that my grandfather was sending me. this isn't, sometimes when I have these discussions, I think, why do I share so much? But um, I share these kinds of things because not because I'm trying to call myself out, but because I think it's important in case someone else is going through this. Um, Unfortunately, I have lost an awful lot of people in my life. However, when my mother died, it was like my world stopped. And I don't think of other people that are there. Before my mom died, yes. But not after. I would never ever think to call upon my grandmother or my grandfather or anyone else for that matter, because I was so laser focused on my mom and what happened that that's the only thing that like was in my mind. Do you know what I mean? If that makes sense. And I almost feel ashamed of myself that I was so closed off and so close minded that I forgot those other people who I, loved desperately. However, sitting on the other side of that, and having my, a little bit of release and a little bit of letting go and some forgiveness that has occurred over the past couple months, I find that I am like, it just makes me smile. There's really no other way to put it. And I don't mean like a great smile. I just mean like that smile when you look at a picture of someone that you care about, it sort of warms your heart, where all of a sudden I just start thinking about my grandmother or, another one of my family members. I asked a reader, if my grandfather had a message for me. And they told me that my grandfather had been sending me messages and I wasn't paying attention to them. So I thought that was interesting. Mm, thank you, Suzanne. I I think I do feel guilty. Um, I feel guilty because, like last night, when you guys were in here and my niece popped in, and why did I get, so like overcome? Um, because she's my niece and I'm her aunt and I'm supposed to be there for her and feel even more so. It's my job, my duty, my responsibility to be there for her because my mother isn't, right? My mother can't be. And I've been absent in their life because I can't go there and I don't get in the car and I don't travel and blah, 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 and so on and so forth. Can't invite me places, so, but that's more like the old Kelly talking than the new Kelly talking, if you understand. But a lot of there's still a lot of pain and a lot of stuff to let go and a lot of stuff that I need to release. I am most definitely a work in progress, but I tell you, I'm a million percent better than I was even just a short year ago. But it will get, I now see what effort that I put into myself, the reward that I will get if I focus and put in the time and put in the work. I believe that I am going to be, the very best version of myself and be on the other side of this thing. And I'm so grateful for that. But just as a point, um, you know, I do have guilt about that because they were too little to understand I was never able to explain it to them. And that is just, that's my thing. They've never made me feel that way. In fact, I remember just a couple of short years ago, we went, they used to dance, and they were in a dance competition that was close to our house. And so we went and met them, and they were staying, in a like hotel situation. And we were sitting outside. It was a lovely summer evening, and the both of them came out and were like, can we cuddle up with you? And they sat on their little lunch chairs, all curled up and cuddled up. And I mean, one was about to be a teenager and one was a teenager at the time. And the fact that a teenager wants to cuddle up with me, just so lovely and so touching and so sweet. And that's when you remember that it's unconditional love, and it's not about what you buy them or what you say or whatever the case may be. And I again, I'm very lucky to have such wonderful people around me. But yeah, I do feel a little bit guilty for sure. Thank you, Anna Banana. I appreciate that. And I also appreciate that, Suzanne. You're right, I do. I mean, I try, right? That's all we can do, is try to be the best version of ourselves. Yeah. I don't meditate. I'm convinced now that I understand it a little bit better, that I will be able to probably in the very near future be able to do that. I do have something kind of cool. I think it's kind of cool, and I don't know what you guys think, but I'll share it with you. So one of the things that I'm working on for this series is I'm trying to get a bunch of people together to come and talk to us. And I'm calling it Spirituality Vocabulary. Being fairly new to this, I go in different chats and different rooms, and I hear different words, and the words are always used, but it's like we're all speaking the same language, yet I have no idea what they're talking about. And so I want, to get a group of people together to come and to talk to us. And just as an example, centering yourself. What does it mean? How does one achieve it? Forgiveness. Give us a couple of tips as to how one could go about releasing pain or forgiving yourself or others that have, caused you pain. How do you, how do you manifest? What does it mean? Right. Because I don't fully understand all these words that they're throwing around. And so I think that could be helpful. What do you guys think? Do you think that would be beneficial to anybody? The readers that I'm contacting seem to think so. So I wondered what your opinion was of that. I was saying that I'm getting together, like I'm trying to work on an idea for the series where we get a bunch of people together from the community, like readers and so forth, that will come and talk to us. And I'm titling it Spirituality Vocabulary, where they come and they talk to us in very short, understandable terms. What does centering yourself mean? How does one go about it? What is the benefits of it, etc. Right? How do you manifest? What does it mean? What's the benefits of it? Because I find myself being new to this. There's a lot of times where I'm in other chats and people are saying things and I don't really fully understand what they're talking about, right? Anna Banana was asking me the other day about a shadow reading. Like, what does it mean? I don't fully know. And so these are the kinds of things that I'm talking about. I think it would be really helpful. And so I was asking your opinion if you thought that that would be helpful. And if you do think it would be helpful, is there anything in particular that you would like to, that you would like to know about more? Well, that's the whole concept, Banana. Like originally we would do one and let's sort of like find out where people are having issues, where people are at, and then we could sort of take a deeper dive. Do you know what I mean? But I agree. I mean, it could go on for years, right? Yeah. Yeah. I found it doing my own research. I mean, honestly, like I was confused. Like, I'll give you a perfect example. And I think I spoke about this the other day about numerology, right? I'm good with numbers, so numerology was my something that I was naturally drawn to. So I watched a video and I was like, okay, and then I watched another video and I was like, okay, and then I watched a couple more and they were all like in tune with each other, even though they weren't by the same person. And I thought that I had like a decent grasp on what we were talking about. And then someone within this community did a talk on numerology, who I went into the chat and started asking questions based on the video that I saw, and that person basically told me that I didn't know what I was talking about. So, okay, so what do I do now, right? I mean, how do I know that the video that I watch is the right video? Because apparently there's different methods. There's 2 or 3 different methods to numerology. I mean, how would I know that, right? And that's the kind of thing that I'm talking about. When you're trying to do your own research, it could prove to be slightly difficult because you don't know what you're actually looking at, if that makes sense. Thank you. I appreciate you guys giving me the 411 on your thoughts there. Yeah, so speaking of the series, I should probably do that before anybody heads off to bed. So tomorrow, 2 p.m., and I know it's early, but it is what it is, right? We have Jay, Herc213. He's going to be here. Then on Wednesday at 3 p.m., we have Allie from Heart and Soul Connected. She's going to be here. Next Monday, the 13th, we have Ron. He'll be here at 2 p.m. On the 15th, and I have to check the time. I don't remember the time off the top of my head, but we have Nancy Jean from Nancy Jean's Garden is going to be here, talk to us about crystals and stuff. So that's going to be really interesting. Because again, that's another one, right? People are throwing these crystal names out as if, they're Smarties. And I'm like, I mean, they all kind of sound the same to me, right? I don't know what they look like. I don't know what they do, right? So I'm looking forward, like I personally am looking forward to that. I think that one's going to be really, really helpful. And then we have Sophie from Bright Opal Tarot coming, and what she's going to do is she's going to speak to us about how she used tarot cards as a way of increasing her mindfulness, which I think is very interesting. It's a very cool concept. I'm trying to, I reached out to Renee from the Tarot Love community to see if she could give me any suggestions as to someone within our community that could be. I'm looking for someone in astrology and someone in numerology, because I want to add that to the series if I can, or in the future. But I want. So I reached out and asked her if she could give me a suggestion as to who I could reach out to. So. Something that could be cool is study groups like numerology. So many of us don't have a clue. We could get books and meet up to assist each other with understanding what we are reading. I love that idea. Very cool. I could get behind that. Suzanne says, stare at the window, watch the rain, snow, and movement going on. Lovely. Lovely. You know what? There's just something so beautiful and peaceful about watching snowfall. I love walking in the snow. I mean, not blizzard snow, but especially late at night. I find it very peaceful. It's actually giving me goosebumps. Suzanne says Zoom meetings to share experiences could help one another. 100% it could, for sure. Linda says, I started journaling and pulling oracle cards for myself to get intuitive messages for clarity. That has helped my progress. Good to hear, Linda. That's what Allie's going to come and talk about on Wednesday. Allie has, like, you know, her journey has been long and like ever moving, but she definitely does the oracle cards, and she wants to discuss. Well, I want her to discuss, you know, how she feels the oracle cards could be helpful. I mean, I'm totally into it. I think I'm getting sick, you guys. Anna Banana says, watching the snowfall is awesome. All the white that traps you inside, not so much, right? The only time I like winter is from the inside, sitting by the fire, drinking hot chocolate. Yeah, I've heard that, Suzanne. I've heard other people say that, and I have to be honest, like, I don't get it, right? And I'm, unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you want to look at it, I'm that kind of person. I need to know, why am I doing this? You can't just say, well, here's a candle, stare at it, and that's going to help you. I need to understand it. And that's one of the reasons that made me think about, you know, what I was just mentioning before. Like, if someone could come and discuss it with us and help us through it, you know, because if I don't know, somebody else might not know, right? I skipped Linda's message. Sorry, Linda. I started journaling and pulling. Oh, no, I read that already. Yeah, I find it totally helpful. And another thing that I was given a tip for. So if you start, and this was for tarot cards specifically, but I also believe that it would be helpful for oracle cards. So, and in your journal, I don't know if you mean this or not, but I'll just say what I was told, and you can tell me if you're doing that. So when you write down in your journal about your oracle cards, you know, what was the question that you asked? What was the deck of cards that you used? It's very important to write down the time, because you're going to develop a method, or a pattern, a flow, if you will, as to when you're on and when you're not, because they say that there is like a time frame when you are more on than you're not, if that makes sense. Mine is like from about like 10 o'clock till about 2 in the morning. Like I feel like I can move these cards without even touching them, as opposed to other times. That seems to be what my journal tells me anyways, right? So I try to pull tarot cards all the time, and I write down in my journal, like, what my question was, what I asked, what I got, and the time and all that kind of good stuff, as you know, to sort of see if there is a pattern. Yeah. Right? Getting trapped by the snow so often as a kid, that made me move south. That's funny. Johnny from Tarot's Apprentice, watch the rain to meditate. I love Johnny. He's hysterical. Anna Banana says, I can't stare at a candle, but I can stare at a fire. Yeah. I could probably do that. Fire's more my deal. Like the first meditation video that I ever found on YouTube, like 10 years ago when I was looking for it, was, okay, I want you to lay down. Feel your toes. Become one with your toes. And like, I was lost already. I was like, what? Like, how do I become one with my toes? My toes are part of me. Like, we are one, right? And that was it. I was done. So, Suzanne says meditation is an individual thing. You need to find out or find what works for you. There are guided meditations online as well. Yeah. Fire is awesome. You pull like an hour before you go to bed. Yeah. I like the still of the night, the quiet of the night. Like midnight, 1 a.m. There's something about that time of night that's always spoken to me, and I feel very at peace at that time of night. And that's when I feel like I'm tuned in, if that makes sense. That's when I'm tuned in, tuned up, tuned in, tuned up, whatever. All right, let's pull a couple more cards, shall we? Let us pull a couple more cards. This is from the little Chakra Love deck. Fearlessness. Can you see that? Okay. From the solar plexus chakra. The message is turn your warrior, or sorry, I say this wrong. Turn your worrier into a warrior. I love that. Turn your worrier into a warrior. Like, who was that message for? Put your hand up. Ha ha ha. All right. Staring at the moon and stars is magical as well. Now Suzanne, like that is 100% right up my street. Like I could do that all night long. I've said this to you guys many times. It is not uncommon for me to sit out in this weather, in the middle of the summer on my front porch, just staring up at the sky. I love that. I've always been able to do my visualizations, and I enjoy those so much. I'm trying really, really hard, you guys. I have done about 50 versions or 50 attempts where I've tried to record a visualization for you guys, and it's really weird to do it and be conscious of it, but not, you know what I mean? Like, I just have to continue to practice it. I've only ever done it like for me inside my head. I've not really ever done it out loud before. So it's interesting. If I can have the house quiet with only the sound of music low in the background, I can meditate. But unless I have a pen and paper in my hand, I don't remember what I see or hear. Interesting. Suzanne says, I am lucky I can see the moon and stars from my kitchen window and deck. Interesting. I can see it from my front. My house, I was going to say my house is weird. That sounds odd. My house doesn't sit. Okay, so say this is, how do I do this so that you can see what I'm doing? Okay, say this is the street, right? My house does not sit like this on the street. My house sits like that, right? The street is straight, but my house sits like that. And so the moon goes like over my house, right? The sun and the moon go over it. And so I can kind of catch it if I run fast anywhere in my house. But usually I'll sit out on my front porch, right? Do you guys have any like new moon rituals or anything that you do in particular for new moons? Because we have a new moon coming up, do we not? On the 14th, I think. Oh, really, Linda? Maybe I'll look that up. I love Susan Lynn. That thing that she did about the damn thing was So awesome. I totally did that. I mean, that was awesome. Do you know what I mean? The damn thing, she called it, or what is the damn thing, or something like that. Something about the damn thing. Anyway. That's a good idea, Suzanne, to record during meditation. Yeah, on a banana, it is. If you're talking about the damn thing, it's really, really interesting. But yeah, absolutely. I'm gonna look that up, and thank you for letting me know that. I really like her. I like her energy. I have done some moon rituals earlier on my journey. Yeah. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. So, Celtic, is it Celtic or Celtic Tarot, Sheila? I just got a notification that says that Devin Nunes is resigning. Oh, let's do some tarot. That was the reminder that just came across. So that doesn't sound good. I don't know where I found this, but somebody somewhere in the community or on the internet, I don't know, regarding the new moon ritual was saying to, sort of like write out your intentions, write a story, sort of like a journal entry, I guess. And to, put it outside in a jar or whatever, and sort of let the moon, cleanse it and take it away and so forth. And so what I started doing was doing that. So I would write sort of like whatever I felt like I needed to write. There was really no formula behind it. It was just whatever I felt I needed to share. Some good, some not so good, whatever. And I put it very scientific. I would put it in a baggie and I would tape it to my one of my windows in my house where the moon kind of goes over it. And I have no idea if it works or if it doesn't, but I'll tell you what, it was just the fact that I was taking some sort of decided action, that I had some sort of plan, that it's like I had like a tip, like a certain horse was going to win in a race. I know that sounds crazy and maybe not the right way to look at it, but it's like I knew something that most people didn't know, and so if nothing happened, it wasn't a loss. But if something happened, it's a huge bonus, and that's the way that I started looking at it in the beginning. Like, okay, why not? I'll give it a shot, and I have to say, I don't know that worked or if there was anything to it, but I felt better by doing it. So I continue to do that, for every full moon that we have since I heard that, because it seems to do something for me, right? Honestly, the U.S. politics is just a hot mess. I mean, politics everywhere is a hot mess, but my goodness. There are a few different moon rituals. They're all good. Some burn, some put in water, and some bury them. Yeah. You burn mine for release, bury to manifest. You know what? I really appreciate how committed you are to your journey, Suzanne. It's very inspiring and very encouraging. I appreciate you sharing. I appreciate all of you sharing. Linda and Anna Banana, Suzanne, I appreciate all of you sharing so much. All right. I've pulled a postcard from Spirit, and I mean, the deck is this big, right? There's that many cards in the deck, so there's a few of them, right? And I don't normally laugh at these cards because I don't find them humorous. And I think that would be just slightly disrespectful for the, what we're trying to accomplish by reading these. But I just picked this up to start to read it. And the first thing it says is, we're a chatty bunch over here. And I was going to start laughing, so I thought I better share what I was going to laugh at. So that's what it says. right? I don't know if you guys can see that. We are a chatty bunch over here. Am I not a chatty Kathy? All right, let us read this message. Dearest you, we are a chatty bunch over here, always talking about how to support you in your life's journey. We communicate to you through the language of oracles, dreams, signs, metaphors, and omens. In your life on earth, however, clarity in your communication is essential to being understood. You don't speak in symbols, and if you did, you would definitely confuse things. Right now, you're facing a situation in which you are being asked to have integrity. Be clear and learn how to ask for your needs to be met. The first step is to admit out loud that you have needs. The second is to ask out loud for them to be met. And the third is to allow the other person, organization, or even us to answer you. When you follow these steps, you can most definitely expect an answer in your favor. Affirmative, we say. Loving you so very much. We just pulled this card not too long ago. We pulled this card not too long ago. You're welcome, Suzanne. I mean, I don't know everything that you've been through, and I don't know everything, that you have left to do, but I can only ever speak from my experiences, and I know it's been a haul. It's been a haul. Oh, that's really nice, Linda. The journey is a commitment for a better you and a better life and a better humanity on earth. I love that. Thank you. And yeah, 100% communication is a requirement, right? I mean, you know what? I've never really given two craps whether people thought I talked a lot or not. It's never really bothered me. But if ever there was a time when it has benefited me, it is right now. Because, as I've said many times, asking for help's not easy, right? Talking about it isn't easy. Sharing it with other people, whether you know them or you don't, isn't easy. Over explaining it in hopes that someone's gonna hear what you're saying and hopefully understand it a little bit to be able to support you or help you. All of these things, doing this, it's just made it easier for me to do that because I am able to talk. Wouldn't be much of an exciting channel if I just sat here, right? And kind of stared at the cards. Now, I've never done this burying for manifest. And without getting into a whole detailed thing, can somebody tell me what do you mean literally bury it? Like bury it in the ground or whatever? Is that what you mean? Oh, thank you, Suzanne. You're very kind. I appreciate you very much, Suzanne. I appreciate all of you so very much. There are days when I can't wait to get on here because I'm I need my friends. I need them to hear what happened to me today, or I want to hear what happened to them today, or whatever the case are. And it is very much like what you just said, Linda, a loving, supportive family. It definitely feels that way for me. I agree 100+%. I feel very, very, very honored and grateful and appreciative to be a part of this community. Oh, thank you, Suzanne. You're so sweet. Treat it like a flower or a tree. Oh, yes, okay. So bury it in the earth. So you're not digging a hole and leaving it there for the rest of its, natural life. I'm not saying that you're pulling it out, but the idea is to just put it under some dirt, right? because the earth grounds it. Is that the idea? Cool. Well, lucky for me, we just did that last year, so it will decompose. Yeah. Yeah, it's, I said that. I think I said that today. We're not taught how to love ourselves, and we're definitely not encouraged to love ourselves by our peers. Especially when you're, from grade 8 on up. And even sometimes as you become an adult, working in certain occupations. I mean, it's like, the women are like, clawing at each other instead of lifting each other up and trying to befriend. I mean, you don't really see guys doing that. I mean, at least not in my personal experience. You don't. It's usually the women that are fighting each other. That's interesting, Suzanne. So to look at manifestations as seeds, yeah. Geez, maybe we need to have you come on the show. Anyone in chat have the deck of characters? No, I don't, but I asked Lisa Smith from Nasty Women Tarot about it not too long ago, and I do believe that she told me that they were doing another release sometime in December. I have not been able to find them. Like, I can't find them. I put in deck of character and I can't find it in Canada. Like, it doesn't come up. So I don't. If someone could tell me where the heck you go to find them, that would be great. You're back. You got distracted by a phone call. It's all good. I don't want to say that you weren't missed. Of course you were missed. Of course we missed you. But, you got to take care of business. It's all good. We're still here. We've been waiting for you, Jalecia. Like, thank God you're back. No, I'm just kidding. Well, that's interesting that you say that, Suzanne, because I think that that's what Adrian was saying the other day, right? When she was here, Adrian from Mid-Lental Healing, that, every day she continues to learn. So I don't think that you ever, well, I know this now, so I don't really have to pay attention. Well, at least I hope that that's not the way that people are looking at it. Oh, interesting. Well, hey, we're open to it. You want to share? Go for it. You tell us what it is. You wanted to see if anyone can help you clarify what you just pulled. I think we're all kind of newbie. Oh, thanks, Anna Banana. I will have to how will I do that? Bum, 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 bum. See, if I wave my mouse over it, it goes. I'll write it down in my notebook. I'll do it old school, like with a pen and paper. That's awesome. Every day tell yourself that I love you, I am enough. Yeah. That's something that I still don't know if I have an issue with or if I don't. I don't even know if that makes sense what I just said, but like, I don't think that how do I say this? I don't think that I don't love myself all the time. When I am aware of when I don't, And when I don't is usually when I am so far down the hole with the anxiety bit that I cannot, for whatever reason, I can't find my mojo, I can't find my fight, I can't find my power, I can't find my voice, I can't find anything, right? And that is when it's like I'm having an argument with myself, right? And I don't know if you would consider that not loving yourself, but that is when I'm like, listen, like, you are smarter than this, you are better than this, take your power. So it's I almost feel like I'm trying to encourage myself, but almost like tough love kind of approach. I don't know, but I've done a lot of mirror work, and I find that really effective for me. I lean back in my chair. If I fall asleep, sorry. Oh, you guys, I think I'm getting sick. I'm getting hot and cold. Are you going to tell us what you pulled on a banana or no? Or on a banana, sorry. Does anybody want a card before we close up shop here? I wondered about noon. 2 rows of 5, alternating top row, bottom row. I pulled tornado, dancing shoes, egg, war, plateau, night, ocean, dragon, house under construction, desert. Oh, Jalicia, you're very kind, sweetie. Seriously, all joking aside, and this goes for anybody that's here because I consider you all my friends. Um, my email is in the about page of the channel. It's dozencats4me chats@gmail.com. Send me an email. I'm here to listen too. I mean, if you want to share something, absolutely 100%. Send me an email. I got no problem with that. I'd love to hear from you. All right, so alternating top row, bottom row. So tornado and dancing shoes. I was reading the reminder that I got from Celtic Sheila saying that David Nunes had retired or resigned, not retired. And then Anna Banana was asking us to help her clarify these the character cards. So tornado, dancing shoes. So 2 rows of 5, alternating top row, bottom row. All right, so I'm assuming it's tornado and then dancing shoes and then egg and then war. Dragon house under construction, desert. I don't get the egg part. What? I don't get the egg part, but I sort of think like, I don't even want to say it's like shitstorm, like trying to avoid a storm, right? Like, what's the thing that I say all the time? Like a fart in a windstorm, you know what I mean? My grandmother used to say that. War and plateau night. I think that's just, like trying to stay one step ahead. Maybe that's what it is, trying to stay one step ahead of something that's basically impossible. When I say he's dancing in a storm, his new endeavor will be a disaster. He's trying to stand his ground on a plateau, but in a minor battle. Yeah, I don't think that you're wrong at all on a banana. I think that I just think it's like, and this isn't my intuition talking, this is just my brain talking. Like, these people are in some sort of shitstorm fantasy world if they think that at this particular moment, maybe a year ago, but not now. There's just too much out there. Too much damage has been done for any logical, rational thinking person for entertainment purposes only to say, oh, you know what? I get it. Yeah, it was like a bad week at the office. No. Um, I think it's just, trying to fight, kicking up a bunch of dust and trying to fight something that's not fightable. Does that make sense? Like creating. Well, I'm trying to say something. What am I trying to say? It's like creating a smoke screen, right? They're kicking up all this dust. It's like when you go to, I don't know, wherever, and you see some young person in a car and they're like revving up the gas and making the tires spin and creating all this like ruckus and like noise just to be seen. And it's like, yeah, but like you're not doing anything. You're just spinning your wheels. That's what I was trying to say. Just spinning his wheels. Interesting. Oh, okay. See, I wouldn't have even thought of that. That the water and the dragon would neutralize. That's interesting. Yeah, I think that the intuition decks, like the deck of character, or like Andrea's from Lilac Linton, are very interesting for sure. I just don't know if I don't know that I trust my intuition that much to be like, oh, Jalecia, this is what this means for you. Like, you know what I mean? I don't know. I wouldn't do it for myself, but not anybody else. Um, Sorry, I just want to go back for a second. So Suzanne said that she was just going to mention mirror work. Um, so I'm not sure, Suzanne, when you said that, if you know what mirror work is, or if you've ever done mirror work before. I would assume that you do, and that you know what it is. I've not had any classes in it. I've not really ever read anything about mirror work, but it was just something that I did for myself because it just worked. I remember when it happened, I was standing in the bathroom in a mall, and I just finished, thinking I was going to pass out and have a panic attack, and in the middle of the mall. So I was trying to pull myself together, and I was in the bathroom, and I remember standing there and my hands were on the counter, and I just finished splashing my face with cold water, and I just looked up and the tears were running down my face, and I said, like, what the hell is wrong with you? Like, what is happening? Um and it just sort of transitioned from there, that when I was alone and I was afraid, I was going to say scared, when I was afraid because I didn't have anyone else to lean on, that is when I would look myself in the eye in the mirror, because I have a theory that you can't lie to yourself. And I would just look myself square in the eye and say, like, you know what? This shit's got to stop. It's got to stop. Take your power back. Tell the panic to F off. Only I wouldn't say F off. I'd say it outright. And I would like get as angry as I needed to make my point, to make me pay attention to what I was saying. It was almost as if I was having an argument with someone else who was trying to tell me what I needed to know. If that makes any sense, that's kind of how I viewed it. And it seemed to work. If I got really, really angry at it, it seemed to work. I'm glad it worked for you too. It is. It's interesting. I've stopped panic attacks by doing that. Mm. No, absolutely. I mean, that's the funny part. Like, I did it, and I didn't even know that it was a thing. I didn't know that there was a term for it. I just did it. Um, which, you know, I could have invented it. Who knows? I'm kidding. Um, But it does work. For me personally, it works. No, I agree, Suzanne. Trust your intuition, it won't lead you astray. I'm just reading Anna Banana's comment here. I always oops, sorry, it just moved up one. I'm like, wait, that wasn't it. I always see an egg as birthing something new. See, now that's interesting. Again, I wouldn't have thought about that. I agree, Suzanne. Sometimes we do have to call ourselves out. And I think, because I don't really have anyone to do that to me. And I'll be perfectly honest, I wouldn't allow it. There's very few people in my life that would ever speak to me like that and get away with it. So I would be about the only person. I mean, what am I going to do to myself, right? It is really an interesting, it's a really interesting psychological, one of those things that makes you go, when you think about it. And not, and I don't mean in terms of like how it works for you, just the concept of it I'm referring to, right? Is an interesting concept that you could probably use for an awful lot of things, right? You probably use it for an awful lot of things in your life other than just what we would be using it for, right? 100%, Suzanne. We get real with it for 100%. Jalicia says, I would love to know more about this. Are you're referring to the mirror work? I'm assuming, Jalicia. Yeah. I mean, it's here's the funny thing. It's one of those things where it's kind of like tapping, right? In terms of tapping is like the instructions last for like a minute, but you could go on about it for days and days and days and days and days about the benefits and the intention behind it, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. The mirror work is kind of the same principle. That it broken down. This is as simple as it is. You stand in front of a mirror and you look yourself square in the eye, and you're doing it for a couple of reasons, right? One, maybe you're body shaming yourself. Maybe you're having a panic attack and you're trying to like bring yourself back to center and be present. Maybe you're doing it because you're trying to let go. Maybe you're doing it because you have anger issues. Maybe you just had a shit day at the office. Like there's a multitude of reasons why one could stand in front of the mirror. And I mean, just picture this for a minute, right? And I'm not saying close your eyes, but just sort of like vibe this out with me for a minute, right? Sorry, I need to smoke. So you're standing in the bathroom, right? And for hours you can feel it coming. You feel like you need to release it. You need to have a good cry. You need to yell. You need to laugh. You need to do something just to get it out of you. Like you can almost feel it brewing, right? And you stand in front of the mirror and you just look at yourself. You're not checking yourself out, but you're looking yourself right in the eyes. And you're like what is going on? Girl, are you okay? Right? And believe it or not, it is the same concept as journaling or what we were talking about yesterday about going for a walk and talking while you're walking, right? That you're almost having like this ongoing conversation with yourself. It is a way to hold yourself accountable without holding yourself accountable. It is a way to make you visually see whatever said issue is doing to you, right? because you're either a hot mess, you're crying, you get big dark circles under your eyes, or whatever, right? You haven't brushed your hair in a week, like whatever the case may be. And again, I'm not an expert. I don't know what the experts say about mirror work. But why I did it and how I started doing it was because I can't lie to myself. So I could sit there and say, oh, my mother did this and my father did that and my brother and the mailman and the whatever, and like it's not my fault, and you know what I mean? Or I could just stand there and say, what the hell are you doing? And it was never my intention to ever get mad at myself. It was more my intention to, like if you watch a movie and someone's getting hysterical and I would smack them across the face to sort of like snap them back into reality. That was my intention, to get a hold of myself and convince myself in a very tender but firm way, you are enough. You have the power to do this. Stand up, take your power back, tell the panic to F off, and go on with it. It was never about loving myself. It wasn't about, like you're okay. And I never did it for that reason. It was always to get me out of panic. And then once that started to click in that was helping me, then I started doing things like when I would leave for work in the morning, right? I would stop, and because driving to work was a challenge for me. Like this was after I was diagnosed. It was a real challenge for me. So now I would stop in front of the mirror and I would just look at myself and I'd be like, you got this. It was my way of getting a hug when I left the house without having no one to hug me. If that makes sense. Okay. So you mean this as in trying to understand, I don't get how doing that changes anything. Like, okay, I can tell myself this is what's up, but that doesn't change anything. I understand what you mean. So let's say, again, I'll use the journaling example. When you're journaling, the concept behind journaling is to do what? It's not to make a solution or to create a solution or to fix a problem or an issue. It is to clear your mind, right? It is to get the thoughts out of your mind that are cluttering your mind up so that you can think more clearly. So you take those thoughts out of your head and you put them down on paper, leaving room for more thoughts to enter into your mind and hopefully be more clear to you, so that you get a clearer message as to what you're supposed to do or how you're supposed to proceed forward or whatever the case may be. And I believe that mirror work is the same concept in theory as journaling, that you are upset, something is festering inside of you, you need to release it, you need to say how you feel, you need to get it out, but there's no one to get it out at. There's no one to yell at, there's no one to talk to, you're not sure how to release it, so you stand in the mirror and you say, you know what? Like, this sucks. I don't like what you did to me. You hurt me. Or whatever the case may be. And I think that's the concept. So it may not be visible what it changes, if that makes sense. I hope that I'm answering your question. I don't think that it's visible what it changes. I think it's more an internal thing where it calms you down. It allows you to release whatever has got you, sort of wound up. It allows you to get the thoughts out of your mind, whether they be upset or anger or whatever. And allows you to have the time that you're standing there looking at yourself to take in the visual of whatever that upset has done to you. And the reason why I say that, and I don't know that that's a thing, but for me, that was the thing. I don't want to get all emotional, but when I was talking earlier today, if you heard with Sonia, it's difficult for me to look in the mirror because I don't like what I've done to myself, right? I'm not happy with what I see. I'm not happy with the image that comes back to me. And I don't mean that in terms of beauty. I just see a sad, old, pathetic person that has let themselves go beyond the pale. And I don't really know what the point is of trying to fix any of it, because it seems unfixable. So that for me personally, that's what mirror work does. I can't walk past the mirror and pretend like the mirror isn't there. I can't get dressed in the dark, right? I have to be seen, and that's how I see myself. If that makes sense to you, right? That's how I see myself. And I look myself in the mirror and be like, you know what, girl? Like, this, what you're doing, this is no good, because you're not hurting anyone else but yourself. It's sort of my accountability, I don't know if that makes sense. I don't know if that explanation helped, but that's how I view it. You have to be your own best friend. You cannot control what happens outside of you. You can only change what's inside of yourself. Don't own what is not yours. Yeah. Yes, and see, for you, Jalicia, that would be a difficult concept to believe in and to accept, because, as you say, you have been in survival mode for such a long time that you have constantly been creating solutions for yourself, right? Because you had no one else to create solutions for you. You had to count on only you. This is another form of accountability, but not in a solution-based form. And I realize that might be difficult to sort of wrap your head around, right? I'm literally sitting here thinking about another way that I might be able to explain it. Yeah. So Anna Banana says, it is like those internal conversations that you would have in your head, but that you're looking at yourself, right? So if you give yourself enough care during those conversations in the mirror, where you're actually paying attention to the hurt, the anger, and the sadness. And I would say that here's what I would suggest, if you don't mind, and I mean, you can share with us if you do this or if you don't. I don't know if you spend any time in the mirror, like looking at yourself, and I don't mean, oh, I'm fat or I'm skinny, or, I don't like my shoulders, or I don't like my hair. I don't mean look at yourself that way. I mean, look at you, who you are, what you've become, where you're at, where you thought you were going to be. That's what you're looking at. You're not looking at Jalicia the person. You're looking at Jalicia's insides. That's what you're looking at. You're looking at Jalicia the warrior. You're looking at Jalicia the fighter. You're looking at Jalicia, the person who's, got road rage, for example. Or you're looking at Jalicia, the one who is like been crying for the last 19 days because her friend told her she was going to call her and she didn't. That is the concept behind mirror work. And I totally understand what you just wrote, that would be a total challenge for you, right? Because you have convinced yourself that if you feel nothing, that you're somehow better off, because that's what you've had to do. You've been in fighter mode pretty much your whole life, from what I've gathered in the chats, right? And so it would be very difficult for you to let your guards down and see yourself for real, right? I'm not saying that mirror work wouldn't work for you. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying it would be a challenge for you for sure. Hey girl, listen, we love you. You can share or not share, but just know that we love you. And, you're in a safe space. There's no pressure. Every single one of us has blocks and protections built around us for a multitude of different things. And when I say that, I'm not saying that to diminish or demean why you have your walls built up. I'm saying that you're not alone in that department. Our reasons may all be different, but we all have them, right? Everybody does. How you work with them and work against them is where the challenge is created and started, right? Do you journal at all, Jalicia? Hey, Kathleen, how you doing? Yeah. See, now, just to prove a point, right? That like we're all the same, but we're all different. I don't cry. Now, you guys have seen me cry a multitude of times, so you're probably thinking, like, what the hell is she talking about? Yeah, she cries. I don't, I cry. Like little wee tears coming down my face. I don't sob. That gut wrenching, racking. No, I can't. I literally stop myself. Intentionally, I stop myself because I'm afraid if I start, I'm never going to stop. I am afraid of that floodgate opening. And I have feared that floodgate for years. That when whatever switch is gonna flip and I'm gonna let her go, I mean, I'm gonna be like the Hoover Dam letting go. That is what I'm afraid of. And so I I will stop myself literally. I've also heard people say that standing in the shower is a great method of cleansing, right? When you're feeling anxious and whatever, that you stand in the shower and you allow the water to flow over you and you close your eyes and you just sort of like take it in and breathe it in. And it's sort of like a form of meditation. I'm assuming I don't actually know that. That's a guesstimate on my part, but I'll be honest. I've had a couple of close calls with panic attacks in the shower. Yeah, I'm not standing in the shower any longer than I need to. Like it's not a happy place for me. So my point in saying that is we all have our things that we can do, and we all have the things that work for us. So don't feel pressure ever. Don't ever feel pressure because that may not work for you, but something else may that doesn't work for me that works for you. Do you know what I mean? Because the last thing I ever want you to do is to think that like, oh, because I can't do this, so like I'm not going to benefit from it. Don't ever think that. Oh, thanks, Miss Candy. You're very kind. Um, what Suzanne just said there, Jalicia, and listen, if like you're done, you just tell me, and we'll like switch gears because I don't want you to ever think that we are like I'm not like picking on you, right? So you only share what you're comfortable with, and when you're done with it, we're done with it. And if, like I said, we you can always email me if you feel more comfortable doing it that way. Um, I'm gonna say this to you, and it's funny because Anna Banana just wrote what she wrote, and then you wrote what you wrote, and I was just leaning in to say to you, I think that you are afraid of releasing, like I was afraid of releasing. If I am, I mean, if my vibe is right, that's what I think. I think you're scared to death to let go because you fear what's going to come out or the reaction to what's going to come out. Okay, so if you have that thought, are you available to be able to burn it? Like, so say, just use an example, you were pissed off at me. You're pissed off at me because I hurt you, because I reopened an old wound, but not enough for you to come and tell me, right? So you write me a letter as if you were going to send it to me. But of course, you're not going to send it to me. So what are you going to do? Are you going to leave it laying around your apartment, or are you going to burn it? So you burn it. That is an option. That if you're afraid that it would be found and that someone could hold it against you, that maybe you could burn it if you have the ability to do that in a safe environment, right? And I don't know if you do or not. And the other thing that I would suggest to you, which might be a little bit easier for you, is something that, hold on. All of a sudden, the things are going so fast, I can't keep up. Somebody set it up here. I'm sorry, I don't remember if it was Suzanne or if it was Linda that said it, or maybe it was Anna. I don't know. But how I was saying yesterday that I did, right? Go for a walk and just start talking. Just start talking out, but out loud. You don't have to yell it. Just start talking. Whatever, I don't care. Get whatever is up here out, and the minute that you start it, you crack it open just a half of a millimeter, and you are going to feel the benefit of it. I guarantee it. I guarantee you're going to feel the benefit of it. And the minute that you start letting that crap out of your brain, the minute that you start letting it out, you're going to be like, wow, like, I can't believe how amazing this feels. And you will continue to do that. That's what I was talking about yesterday when I would do those walks and I was like yelling, and people, might have been looking. I mean, nobody was around, but I was conscious that, what if someone heard me? I was all like in my head about it. And I thought, like, who cares? I did it for like a year and a half. I just walked that track like a lunatic, going like, my life sucks, blah, blah, blah. This person, I hate that one. And I can't believe they did that. Do you remember in 1972 when you squeezed and pulled and, I mean, that's what I was doing. Didn't matter what I was talking about. I just did it. And I was releasing all kinds of stuff. Yeah. Of course, your natural instinct is to protect yourself at all costs. And I totally understand that. I am very much that way myself. Very much that way myself. And so, like I said, I don't want to make you feel uncomfortable. Um, you send me an email, and we'll have a little chat, and I'm sure that between the two of us, we could figure out something that might be able to help you to feel safe about maybe lowering one of those walls just a little bit, right? Now, Kathleen's absolutely right. I mean, it is very beneficial, but here's the thing, right? This is the most important thing. And I've said this so many times, and I will continue to say it. I am so encouraged by you that you have the bravery and the trust in us, that you would put that there, because I know that's very difficult for you. So I appreciate the fact that you trust us. And I am grateful for the fact that you feel that you are in a safe space. So thank you for that. But more importantly, what you just did was a huge step for you. And I hope that you recognize that, and I hope that you celebrate it. And here's why you should celebrate it. Because if you don't tell anybody, no one can help. So now you ask a question, and hopefully you can get an answer that you can understand, wrap your head around, that you feel like you might be able to do with a little bit of resistance or whatever, right? And if nothing else, just the fact that you were brave enough to ask the question that you shared, I'm so proud of you. I know how hard that is to do. I know how hard it is to do, and I'm so proud of you. You give yourself a hug because I'm hugging you right now. I know you don't want that camera in my sweater, but I'm giving you a hug right now. I am so proud of you because it wasn't easy for you to do that. So celebrate it. That is your first step at breaking down those walls. And I will do everything that I can to help you to continue to break down those walls, even if we only break it down a millimeter. That is still a victory. Don't forget that, right? And I also get that you feel like you've overshared, but you haven't. Like Linda said, you are loved unconditionally. You are my little ray of sunshine, so I will do whatever I can to make sure that you continue to illuminate those rays of sunshine. No thanks are required. You're among friends. When you're with your friends, you don't need to say thank you. Because we got your back, just like you got ours. You've done this very thing for me many times in many different chats, right? Just like Anna Banana has, just like Kathleen has, just like Suzanne has, just like Linda has. Night, honey. Thank you for saying that, Anna Banana. Miss Candy, I'm so glad that you joined us and that you're here. I mean, I'm so proud of each and every. I mean, I'm proud of me. I'm proud of each and every one of us because it isn't easy, man. This shit is real. It's not easy. And I think that the most important thing that we can take away from all of our chats, I mean, we're here and we're doing this, right? We're here and we're doing this. That is important to remember and to recognize and to celebrate. 2, we're sharing. We feel safe. We feel loved. We feel empowered. I can't tell you the last time that I sat with 5 or 6 people that actually gave 2 shits about what I had to say or what my problem was or listened to me and wanted to actually help me or how to fix it. I don't know about you guys, but I don't know the last time that happened. Never mind 5 or 6 complete strangers. So yeah, this is amazing. This is awesome. And I guess what I'm trying to say, I'm not trying to like go on about it and be ridiculous about it. I'm just saying if you think about it in those kind of terms, perhaps maybe the idea of, you know, self-sabotaging yourself or the negative self-talk or the, you know, I overshared and so now I'm going to like be really, really down on myself will dissipate it just a little bit if you think of it in those terms, right? That is so sweet, Linda. I believe in you all. We are all shining stars. We most definitely are. We most definitely are. All right. So for my ray of sunshine, Jalicia, let us pull a guardian angel card because I feel like we need that. I love that, Miss Candy. And you know what? There is no greater compliment that I could be paid than for someone to tell me that I make them feel safe and make them realize that they're not alone, because that is my only goal. That is the only reason why I'm sitting here. I don't want anyone to go through what I went through. And I know what I went through isn't the worst. So if I can help in any way to make sure that nobody ever suffers like that alone, then I've done my part. And if nothing else, Jalicia, I want you to think about this. As I said a few moments ago, the amount of times that you have lifted me up, I'm just being there for my friend. That's all I'm doing. Love that, Suzanne. That's what I pulled, Jalicia. Prayer. Dear guardian angel, help me to be flexible in my attitudes and beliefs. Help me to not fear the transient nature of life. Help me to remember the eternal light, which emanates from my soul, and the eternal light which emanates from the heart of every living thing. Help me to remember that I am eternally guided and loved by God and all creation. If I'm not mistaken, we pulled that like just the other day, did we not? That is awesome. I am tuckered out, you guys. It was a big day. Big day for Kelly. I was just going to say, like, we just pulled that card the other day for you. Sometimes you can't make this stuff up. Spirit always knows when you need a helping hand. That is what I am thinking in my mind at this particular moment. Oh, thank you, Jalicia. I love you right back, my dear. Yeah, it's been a big day for me. I said to my husband today, I'm not used to working this hard for free. Oh my gosh, you guys. Okay, I want to pull a couple more cards for everybody. I don't want anyone walking away from this chat feeling less than good, right? I want all of us to end this on a positive note and feel good about what we've said, what we've done, what we've commented on, right? And Jalicia, no pressure, but please feel free to email if you feel the need, right? I'm here to help if I can in any way. All right, we're going to pull Language of Flower. Fuchsia, true feelings. Within you is all you need to know. Within you is all you need to know. So don't forget, everybody, if you can, tomorrow at 2 p.m., Jay is going to be here with me. And then I'll be back here at 9 p.m. tomorrow night. And then on Wednesday at 3 p.m. I have Allie from Heart and Soul Connected with me. And then I'll be back here at 9 p.m. tomorrow night. Look at this image. Look at it. You see that? Brilliance. Discover your sparkle. Discover your sparkle. I mean, how do you discover your sparkle? How do you do that? By claiming your power. By speaking the truth. From coming from a place of gratitude. By loving yourself. And bit by bit by bit, it all starts to fall into place. And all of a sudden, one day you feel whole again, or more whole than you have felt in a very long time. Whoa, you see that? Toss right out of there. Purpose. I know what I'm here to do. So, what are we here to do? We're here to discover our sparkle. And how do we do that? By accessing our true feelings. Access your true feelings. All right, I'm going to pull a postcard from Spirit, and then we're going to end this. Jalicia, we love you. We all love each other. And one way or the other, we will get through this together. Whatever this may be for you. Because, as my mama always said, you must believe. It doesn't cost anything to believe in yourself, in your friends, in your support network. It doesn't cost anything to believe in Spirit. To believe that you have the right to live your very best life. Doesn't cost anything. But it's a lot of hard work. All right. Let us pull a postcard from Spirit for everyone that is here. I am throwing cards all over the place. I just had 3 fall out, so that I don't want to be here till tomorrow, so we have to get it down to 1. I can't believe that I just pulled the same darn card that I pulled earlier tonight, that we are a chatty bunch. I can't believe that I just pulled that same card. I just read this already tonight. Perhaps we need to read it again. Dearest you, we are a chatty bunch over here, always talking about how to support you in your life's journey. We communicate to you through the language of oracles, dreams, signs, metaphors, and omens. In your life on earth, however, clarity in your communication is essential to being understood. You don't speak in symbols, and if you did, you would definitely confuse things. Right now, you're facing a situation in which you're being asked to have integrity, be clear, and learn how to ask for your needs to be met. The first step is to admit out loud that you have needs. The second is to ask out loud for them to be met. And the third is to allow the other person, organization, or even us to answer you. When you follow these steps, you can most definitely expect an answer. In your favor, affirmative, we say. Loving you so very much. You can't make this stuff up. We pulled that card twice for a reason, right? I don't even know what to say. That was. I'm left feeling almost like dumbfounded, but in a really happy way. You're so funny. Anna Banana said that to me the other day, that I hit her with a stick or something with one of my cards. And thank you, Suzanne. I appreciate that. Wasn't that you? That was you, right, Anna Banana, who said that I hit you over the head with a stick with the card that I gave you? Hey, like, don't thank me. It's not. I pulled the card. Spirit's the one that did the talking, like Suzanne said. Obviously, they thought you needed to know the message, so apparently they think we are a bunch of slow learners. We needed to hear it twice. Oh my gosh, you guys, I love you, and I absolutely am. I mean, honestly, this was one of the best chats that I've ever had. I feel so empowered and so loved and so like I just feel great. I feel warm, and I'm excited for you, Jalicia, that you took a baby step tonight. It was huge what you did tonight, and I'm so grateful and so proud of you, and it's exciting to me to watch you want to improve, want to be better, because you deserve it. Right? So, until next time, I hope that everyone has a good night's rest. I hope that everybody has a great Tuesday. I hope that everybody takes a little peek at themselves in the mirror tonight. You know, at your own risk, of course. You know, give yourself a hug, because you deserve it. This was a tough chat, but a very uplifting chat. And I am so grateful to everyone that was here to help me and help Jalicia and support each other. This was great. Not to make it like, Jalicia, you know, stole the chat. I don't mean it like that, but I'm just saying I appreciate everybody. From my perspective, I appreciate you all supporting Jalicia. That was not that I didn't expect you to, but that was awesome. Good, Jalicia. I'm very proud of you. That was a lot for you, girl. All right, my friends. I've said everything I needed to say, I think. If not, I will be repeating myself tomorrow. It's going across the screen. You can see it. 2 p.m. Jay will be here. Wednesday, Ellie will be here at 3 p.m. I'll be back here tomorrow night at 9 p.m. So whenever we'll do this again, Jalicia, email me, and that goes for anybody that's listening. Well, not anyone that's listening. You know who I mean. You guys can email me. I'm happy to try to be you know, any kind of assistance, or just listen. Right. I'm not a therapist, but been there, done that. Still there. Right. All right. I will say goodnight. Blessings to everybody. Blessings to everybody. Thank you so much for being here and for being awesome. I believe in each and every one of you. Blessings. Bye for now.